we'll get there.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this year's spooky baking. This time we are making soul cakes from the best ever illustrated encyclopedia of British cooking.
Best ever.
Best ever. So these ought to be the best ever soul cakes. And I should preface with this was actually Emily's suggestion. Emily is not here.
Which Emily?
Not SW, the other one.
Not SW.
Yes. She couldn't be here, so we're making them without her. Sorry, Emily. So the reason she suggested this was because, and as it says here, on All Souls Day, you would go offer, house to house and offer your prayers for the dearly departed, and then they would give you cake in return. So you
Give me prayers and take my cake.
You see how this turned into trick-or-treating.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna make. And then also I have to tell you about the witch cakes.
Okay.
Step 1. Preheat oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Guess 4. Grease 2 baking sheets or line them with parchment paper. And then we're going to basically sift our flour and the spices into a bowl. We are using 4 cups of self-rising flour. So this says a teaspoon of apple pie spice, but we don't have pre-mixed apple pie spice.
So we're making our own?
And we only need like a teaspoon. I think just like a shake of each will be fine. Right?
Makes sense to me.
I don't feel like measuring out a quarter teaspoon. All these things.
More? That feels non-existent. Yeah. I mean, also I feel like 4 cups of flour and only a tablespoon of all of this stuff is...
That's nutmeg.
Nothing. Ginger?
Yeah, the ginger actually has a measurement, so it wants half a teaspoon of that. So that could just be a light shake.
Oh, a light shake?
Yeah, I don't
know. Alright.
Yep.
Alright.
I'm probably do a little more.
Very exact here.
Spice you want to be really light on though.
Is that a little more?
Yeah. That was ready. Alright. And I guess we can mix it up.
Sorry.
Alright, then we're gonna set this aside. And then we gotta start beating the eggs, the sugar, and the butter. So first we're going to do the butter and the sugar. 3/4 cup of sugar. Mix them together until it's fluffy. Gradually beat the eggs into the mixture. So we've got the flour, and the actual recipe wants you to use raisins. We don't have raisins, and no one likes them anyway.
I was gonna say I don't like raisins.
So we have chocolate chips instead.
Oh, delightful. Much better than raisins.
Yeah, and I don't know if like the raisins are supposed to mean anything, or if it's just because, it's an old medieval recipe and people had dried fruit.
Probably that.
Yeah. And now we're gonna fold this in. Let's add the chocolate. And then we can add milk to it. Somehow these ingredients don't seem proportional.
No, 1/4 cup of chocolate chips to 4 cups of flour seems a little absurd to me. Maybe it's once more the medieval thing and they only had so much dried fruit.
Alright, well, the recipe says 2 tablespoons of milk, but we're definitely, I think, going to need a lot more than that. Start with that, then we'll just keep adding more as we go along. I mean, I think they are supposed to be a little on the drier side compared to like a scone.
But I don't know how this is even gonna hold a shape.
I mean, we are gonna need more milk. Let's see. I think it's better than we're thinking. But let's add more milk. We'll get there?
Yeah.
Well, I have washed my hands. Again.
So you will.
So I will now manhandle it.
Fair enough.
Directly. Would you like to add, I think if we do like another couple tablespoons of milk, that'll do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll need to roll them out. I think just hand shaping them will be good. And while we're shaping them, I'll tell you about the witch cakes.
Okay.
I know I'm really building this up.
Well, you finish that. I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Okay. This looks like good, proper cookie dough now.
Though we are not making cookies.
We are not making cookies, no, but the idea is there.
We said, I see your recipe, and no.
Yeah, there's too much flour.
I mean, I feel like it has to work somehow. I just don't know how.
I mean, we did add a lot more spices than it called for, but this means it'll actually have flavor.
True. I think we could have done with more spices, honestly.
Alright, I think we're there. I think we got it.
Alright, are we putting it on here? Is that the idea?
If we're gonna shape it by hand, let's just do it right out of the bowl.
Okay. So we're not going for the perfectly circular.
No, but I think if you kind of make them kind of as good, and then you're supposed to cut across into the top, we can still do that.
Okay. They are rather flat, though.
I just am thinking this might be too sticky to roll. This over here. I gotta figure out how big I want to make it. What do you think about this size?
I think that looks about good.
So, flinging dough everywhere. While I was looking up things to make that would be on theme, because our theme this year is witchcraft, witches.
Fair enough.
I just
It's a
googled.
little larger than yours, honestly.
Well, this one turned out a little small. I looked up witch cake just to see like what would come up, and I was fully just anticipating like people decorating cakes like
in a witch theme,
green and stuff. But no, witch cakes are an actual thing.
Oh.
From the Middle Ages, and what it was a method to remove curses.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Seems very witchcraft-like.
So, I was looking at them, and I was reading. It might have been Smithsonian, because they actually like had like an existing one, which is really weird to still have an existing baked good from the Middle Ages.
Yeah, how does that work?
But it's like they described it as a spiky bagel.
Spiky bagel.
A spiky bagel, and I was trying to figure out how, because it literally was like spikes, like it was shaped like a virus kind of. And I was trying to figure out how they bake it like to look like that. No one explained that for me.
Well, witchcraft, obviously.
But no, it's an anti-witch cake, really.
Fair enough.
So the idea is that you make this cake, and the key ingredient is the urine of the cursed person.
Oh!
And then you throw it in the fire.
You don't eat it.
You don't eat it.
Okay.
No. You destroy it.
I'm happy to hear that.
By either throwing it in a fire or for some reason feeding it to a dog. And that's supposed to remove the curse.
Does that not make the dog cursed?
I guess no one really cared.
Alright.
Maybe dogs are just so pure that they just purify.
They purify the curse. Alright.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an anti-witch superstition.
I'm thoroughly disgusted.
Yes.
I was all set to ask you why we didn't make these, and then you got to the urine.
There's a reason why we did not make these.
All right, then. Are we gonna...
What?
Cross them?
Oh, yeah. You are correct. This is the key point, probably.
Although I feel like in the picture here, it's not in the shape of a cross. But in the picture here, it is. These are just like lines across
Oh, yeah, they were poking them with a fork.
Yes.
This is what makes them like soul cakes, probably. It's the cross.
I do have a rather communion wafer vibe.
Alright. I want to set a timer for 15 minutes. Okay. Ready? Ready?
Yes.
I mean, they could be a little browner, but...
Yeah, but this one in the center, I'm afraid if we leave it in there for any longer, it's gonna...
And we also don't like Halloween.
Sure.
Alright. So that's the soul cakes. Not the witch cakes.
Yes, thankfully not those
Very
cakes.
So I imagine they'll probably just taste like kind of spicy chocolate chip cookies.
I'm actually hopeful for them. I feel like if I were to remake it, though, without having tried it and knowing for sure what it tastes like, I would probably want more spices. I feel like we didn't put enough in to make it even worthwhile.
No?
Even when we added more, it was this much flour and
Yeah,
a little dusting of spice at the top.
Well, we still put in more than the recipe said.
No, valid. But I feel like the amount of spice on the top was enough for, like, this many cakes.
Well...
But who knows? Maybe it'll be nice and spiced.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we should try one, but I'm also afraid of them being too hot.
I also am not capable of eating food that's actually warm.
Let's see the steam coming out of it.
I'm definitely glad we went with chocolate chips for that reason.
Smells good.
It does.
Alright, ready to try it? Could use more sugar.
I still say I could use more spice.
I think if we baked them any longer, it would have dried them out.
Definitely.
This is definitely a tea time confection.
Yes.
Snack. Yeah.
Not bad though.
Alright. This has been the Soul Cakes. Have a happy Halloween and stay
haunted.
Bye.